Why hello there, and hey everyone, JSD Cool here, and welcome to the 36 subscriber special live stream. Woo! Yeah. Okay, just kidding. Although, I do actually have 36 subscribers, which is one less than my brother's channel currently has, so that's great. I will also say that I was at 36 subscribers like at one point last week as well, and then it went down for some reason. But that's besides the point. That's completely unrelated to. Yeah, shut up, Tyler. Shut up. But anyhow, today we're doing something different that I haven't done before, but I kind of wanted to do at one point for a while, like the thumbnail for the stream. I made that a long time ago, actually. Now that I think about it, when did I make that thumbnail? Hold on, let me just go over to this view here so that I don't accidentally leak anything. Oh. Well, it'd be handy if I actually had that folder open as well. But yes, I'm today going to be working on something for my game. The next minor update, well, part of it at least. I actually haven't thought too much about how I'm going to do this. 2021 is when I made the thumbnail. And this is the first time I've ever used it, so... So yeah, that's gonna be... That's great. But anyhow, yes, welcome to the development environment. Okay. Why did I close the game? I actually do kind of need that in order to actually do stuff. So, to start off with, I can show some stuff that's going on with the game in the current, I'll show the biggest feature that I've currently worked on for the next minor update, which... By the way, Tyler, you are part of the reason why this hasn't come out yet. Let's see. You do just remember to guard your yeah. Well, Tyler, the reason why the YouTube says that is just so that you don't do anything stupid yourself. Obviously, they're different. But yes, Tyler has yet to redo the level complete sound, which is probably the biggest thing holding up this minor update. But... And the thing is, he even knows. Look at that. Wow. Just looking at my camera now, it is perfectly aligned with this bottom slider right here. Well, almost perfectly aligned. It's like 1 pixel. 1 pixel off the actual bottom of the slider. That is completely not intended. But anyhow, if you know this game, and by the way, this game, there is a version available right now. You can find it at the first link in the description. The second one is to the intro music, as you might know if you read the description. But yes, the website, first link in the description is where you can find this game. Obviously not this version, as I'm currently developing it, but... Yes. But so yeah, I mean, if you've seen the settings menu, you might notice that there are 4 buttons here at the bottom instead of 3. Because there's now a tab all about sound. And, yes, there is some music, which I won't be playing right now, just because if I have the music on for like 2 hours, it's going to get very annoying to hear over and over again as we're doing random stuff, not even in the game necessarily. And also, I can't be bothered to put headphones onto this, so it's going to be a bit echoey, so I don't want that. So you can do that. There's also the sound volume, which, as it currently sits, is actually slightly better than the sound was in the currently available version of the game, because this sound volume now also... I don't know if this sound... Sound volume in this version of the game is exactly the same as similar to the current version of the game. Which, the only built into the game function that it really serves is the level complete sound as of this moment. Tyler will probably eventually make other sounds, but I'm not sure about that. But besides that, what this currently does is any custom to the level sounds is also affected by the sound volume. And now new in this next update here is this narration volume, as I split narration into its own sound type, as controlling both the level complete sound and the much quieter narrations that happen throughout the game and levels with sound volume was not a good idea. So yeah, now narrations are its own volume, which means that the tutorial and all of that is now respecting this volume slider. Well, any volume slider, really. But the narration volume. And also, just a heads up, in case you do make your own level with this game, any sound that you have put into the game before this update will default to being treated as a narration, because that's how I have used it entirely within the game up to this point, and I can't be bothered to go back and change stuff. So it's better this way, trust me. Wow, thank you for the party favors, Tyler. What's weird is that my phone, which is of course wrong here, is displaying that there's only one person viewing the stream, which cannot possibly be true, as my phone, which is not the channel is actually streaming right now, is viewing the live stream, and there's someone putting hearts and party favors in chat, which is not me. So there must be more than one person watching at this moment. Yes, like that. Yes. It is weird, but YouTube desynchronization and stuff. Oh, and also, I guess the narration mode option has been moved onto the sound page from the other page, which is now very empty without any references to sounds, but there is still stuff on other here. Anyhow. So what am I actually going to be working on today? Because that's completely unrelated to anything I'm actually going to be doing. So, we are going to have to head over to the level creator for what I am going to be doing in this episode, well, in this live stream. So, and oh, I'm also in full screen mode. I should probably, that's why I was in settings. Hold up, I'm going to go turn that off for the next time I launch the game. Okay, so Tyler, I don't want to spoil things right now, but I could tell you later what my current plans for maybe in the future are for coins, because I did see you put that in the at one point in like the spreadsheet for tasks to do, and then I deleted it because not multiplayer. I have plans potentially for the future, but I don't want to spoil that right now, as they could also change. So I've had plans in the past for things in this game that have definitely changed over time. Anyhow, so okay, now we're at the level creator. I will just quickly... Okay, something I actually might consider doing within this a future minor update or the next major update is making it a default author name. I don't know how you would set it, but once it's set, it will automatically pre-populate this field with whatever your default name is, so that you don't have to remember to type it each time you land on the screen. That would be useful. Anyhow... So anyhow, obviously the screen has 4 major buttons and a back button. Now, obviously we have these button that just says new, this button that just says load, then we have new blueprint and load blueprint. Maybe it'd be a good idea to just combine these into just one button, and then once you get to this screen, there's like an option here for blueprint or for level, but today we're talking about the blueprint system, because there's some minor changes. I say minor. It's something I intended to do a while back, but just haven't gotten around to till now. So you'll notice here, you can enter the name of a blueprint. So I can name it My Smelly Blueprint, or something like that. And we're just placed into this. That was all the customization we had to start off with, was just what's going to be the name of your blueprint, and then we're just dumped right into the editor, which is basically the 2D level editor. And I have to pop this out separately because I'm in full screen mode, which is not the recommended way to use the level creator. Yeah, this is, oh, also, a tad bit neglected by the looks of the options available. To be fair, I probably should add more stuff to being available here, but I probably want to do a slight bit of refactoring to the toolbox window here. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just continue the hodgepodge way I've been building things. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, as it currently stands, just going to move that off to the side. This is just straight up a 2D thing. Okay, let's get rid of that. You can't even select... Well, okay, it makes sense you can't actually select up. Sending the group of anything in this mode would be dumb, just to put it simply. Oh, Tyler deleted a message. Oh well. Huh. Well, there's a bug that I might have to change. So, okay, something else I guess I could talk about that I've added for the next update is you can see that under the mouse right here. Maybe you can't see. Hold on, let me just. You can see under the mouse right now that there's a big old box of yellow. This represents the grid of where I'm currently, or I would currently be doing stuff. I am not in streamer mode on Discord. I should change that. You'll notice that it's just working fine here. I've turned the grid mode up way high. So let's actually make that smaller so it's a little bit more obvious. So this represents that is like where I'll draw the box when it happens. Interestingly, it also exists when you're deleting and you have grid mode on. Maybe I should make it so it doesn't. But that's whatever. But yeah, it's not exist. It only exists in the first quadrant here, obviously, and not in the other quadrants, which is interesting. I want to test something else now, but I'm going to go turn streamer mode on Discord so that I can. Well, okay, Tyler. It doesn't necessarily matter that you deleted it because I talked about it a little bit, so it kind of. Anyhow, Windows. No, it's streamer mode. Doesn't technically matter since I already kind of mentioned that message, but okay, I guess that's fine. Yeah, I do kind of want to go test something. I really got to reboot the game, but so I still haven't even talked about really what we're doing today. So what we're doing today is we're going to be at least trying to go to the next level of blueprints because you may not actually hear. Woo, here's some behind the scenes stuff. My test level. Woo, look at all this stuff. Obviously something with that we have with this game is we have both the 2D levels and the 2D stages and the 3D stages. Blueprints currently only exist in the 2D space. There is no 3D equivalent, despite the fact that I did plan for it. I was just too lazy to add it. And there have been a few times I'm like, would be nice if I had a 3D blueprint thing. Twould be nice, wouldn't it? So let's see. What did I come? All right, I know what I came in here to test. Just go to here. Go. Grid mode is on. Oh. Yeah. Okay. What I thought. Oh, hello there. We have someone else talking in chat. That is very uncommon. Okay, so a bug. Maybe I'll spend time on this bug first. Because this is a feature that I've actually supposedly finished for this next update. Yeah, anytime the coordinates go into the negative, and based off the way that the game is currently made, this corner up in the top here is actually where 0, 0 is. And the y-coordinates increase as you go down. So going up like this, everything up here above where this corner is, which this is not even going into the correct location, is a negative y-coordinate. And obviously this grid indicator thing is not working with negative coordinates for some reason. So let's figure that out now, shall I? Exit. And there we go. Alright. So that would be in the stage editor. Alright. Grid mode box. This is it. Why is this not working in the negative coordinates? Nothing in the console would indicate any anything to be going wrong. Now, the most irresponsible thing I could possibly do would just be print out all the results. So I am going to do that. Just that. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Alright. Now let's see what kind of spam I get down here when I go above y equals 0. Because I'm imagining there's some sort of like divide by 0 error. There's just gotta be, right? There's no possible reason why I would otherwise be getting this sort of a situation. So click load. And I turn grid mode on, and I guess it then doesn't matter. So we'll turn grid mode up just so you guys can see it. Alright, so those numbers make sense there. Now let's venture... Oh, no, I gotta click on this window. Now let's venture upwards. I hedged that... I think that trying to render something with a height of 0 would definitely be an issue. Alright, so when a coordinate goes negative, the width or the size of that axis, I guess, goes down to 0. Best way for me to describe that. Now why does that happen? Here. Let's go through all this math here. So I can, okay, so the math for how this is working, there's a couple, I mean, it's a mess. It is a mess. And this is after I fixed it from not working with screen size scaling. That was a fun thing that I somehow hadn't tested before, and then it was like, ah, yeah, that's not in the right location at all. Let's see, how many sets of parentheses does stuff get in here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 5 sets of parentheses that all this stuff has to comply with. So the first thing we do is we scale the mouse, or the mouse position down to where it would be on the default screen size, which is about 720p. No, it is 720p. Then we account for the camera position, or for the vertical camera position, because we're in the Y quadrant here. I guess this applies to both X2 and Y2. But apart from the blueprint editor, it's most prominent in the Y-axis, because you can't go to the negative X-axis in the normal level editor process. So, after we account for the location, we divide. Okay, so after we get what is effectively the screen position, or wait, why are we subtracting the camera position? Not entirely sure. Well, I know the reason why the camera position is necessary here. It's so that the grid is always consistent when you're moving up, down, left, and right. I think it doesn't technically matter that we subtract versus add it. As long as we do the inverse operation later, I think it's probably fine. Anyhow, we take this, we divide it by the size of the grid, and then we seal it, basically round up, because this is the upper side of it. Then we refactor in the position, the screen position, to put it back to where the cursor is on the screen. We then change that to an integer, or then we get the integer version of that, as we're working in floating point numbers at this point. We then re-multiply that by the scale, so that we're now back into actual screen space versus effectively ideal or internal screen space. And then we just get the height difference from where we started. And then of course that goes into an integer data type, so we cast that to an int. Why then is this breaking? I don't see any obvious position where this would break. I think I just need to like save every step of the process in a separate variable and then print all those variables out. So float a1 and then this is so not what I wanted to do with this stream, but it's what it's turning into. And I mean like every... Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this as an array. Float array a equals new float, oh, let's say 10 elements for now. So a of 1. That way I can just use a loop to print all this stuff out instead of having to do it manually. For some reason I'm using math.seal. Seal of ace of 2. Ace. A of 2. Ooh, thanks for finally popping up processing's... Oh, right, it's a double. Right, because we're using the Java math library instead of processing's math libraries. Oh wait, we didn't need to seal that yet. Actually, whoops. That would be A of 2 times wow, we are missing shit. What? Hold up. Man, I am completely lost. So hang on. So we did that inner bit here and here. We then divide by grid size. There we go. Then we float cast math das. Then we seal it. Times. Then we grid size that again. Then okay, after we multiply by grid size, we int cast that, which is an important set, or is an important step. So once that has been integer cast, we add this back in. So plus, oh yeah, the window's open, by the way. The weather today has been, well, recently the weather, as I've commented on in previous streams, has been crazy. Like, when I got up today, it was like 50 degrees outside and raining. It's December! For frick's sake. And then it's like been raining all day. All day. So anyhow, we added that. And then most of the stuff at this point is just order. And then we multiply by scale. And after that we integer. So a sub 9 equals int of a sub 8. Dang, we need 11 positions in this array. And then okay, this is this entire line of math split out step by step, put into an array so that I can then just go print array A. And then that should directly just print out all of those things. I can then analyze what's going on there and hopefully figure out what the issue is. Maybe not though. Who knows? Who knows? All right. Make it big. Print. Okay, crap. Nope. Okay, nope. I need to change that. It's printing everything out on a different line, which is not at all what I want. That makes it. I mean, yes, you give me the numbers. I guess I could also print something in between. Maybe I'll just add an extra line break in there so it's obvious where one ends and the next begins. Alright, back to the level creator. Oh yeah. Something that you won't see, hopefully, unless I mess up, when playing the game, is that developer menu, which is just made so that I can, when developing stuff like this, quickly get to parts of the game that might take a hot second to get to otherwise. Grid mode, turn it up. All right. Click on this window. All right, it's working here. And then it's 0 there. All right, I will now turn this off as we have got all the data we need here. Actually, let's, well, I'm gonna go quickly here so I can write this down on Notepad here. All right, go back to the scene. So, these are the numbers that we have here, a little bit better for you to see. So, can close that a bit, and I will boop this back up. Okay, so this is... Okay, so now you see it, and... Whoop, no, you don't. I mean, I guess we could reference the console down here a little bit, but that's definitely going to be a tad bit harder for you to see on your end of things, but I kind of need to be able to go back and forth between them. So, the first number we have is 0. Interesting. Why is that 0? Is that always 0? Because that doesn't really make sense for that to be 0. Oh, as far as this thing goes up, it's 0. Oh. No, it's 0 because we literally are not using 0 for some reason. Why did I start at 1? Well, okay, we needed exactly 10 then. So I will reorder these things. Oh, okay, whatever. Fuck it. We're just going to leave that one to 0. Alright, so we start at 212, which is dividing the mouse by the scale. And an integer... Well, no, that's a float. So floating point fashion, we get just directly 212 in this situation. Also, I guess we don't know the values of all these things that we're straight up dealing with here, so maybe that's a little bit of thing, but we can figure out at least what stage is here. So first of all, 10, which is the final one here, is in fact 0. Right above that we have 310. These two lines being 310 make sense, as that's just the integer version of whatever was above it, which happened to be an integer. Interestingly, only line 3 here was actually not an integer. Interesting. Anyhow, so that means that y1 was somehow exactly 310. Okay, actually, I need to go back to the game. I need to... Okay, I have those numbers on Notepad on a separate screen here. So we should be... Okay, so I'm not losing anything here. What, then, do the numbers look like in a normal situation? Let's go over to Tools here. Load, test. Probably should make enter do something there. Or maybe I'll get Tyler to figure that one out. Alright. So, this is what numbers look like. Actually, I did think of potentially one way we could fix this. Okay, so I'm going to just copy these. Wow, there's some floating point precision there. Woo. Interesting. So the point of this second argument is to be the specific grid's distance away from the first argument. So I technically may not have needed to do all this math. I could have just said, wait, hang on. What? What am I doing here? This entire thing seems a tad bit useless, as I'm pretty sure that it's just supposed to be the grid size after the first coordinates. Anyhow, what I think might fix it is if we just go using the absolute value minus the absolute value of that. let's see what happens. If this just fixes it, then great. I've wasted 30 minutes. Well, that's a little unfair. I did spend a little time waffling before we actually got doing stuff, but this has basically nothing to do with the 3D blueprint editor. Anyhow, that did not fix anything. Interesting. I mean, okay, the grid size is 100, so I don't know why 125 is the output. That seems a little bit incorrect, but... Oh wait, no, that's because of scaling. Right, the scale is... Which I don't have on the debug information up here for some reason. The scale's like 1.25 or something like that. So 125 actually makes sense with the scale here. So that is about, so that's correct. So then why? Do I not just multiply the grid size times the scale and use that for the output? The input position seems to be correct. Or the input positions just seem to be correct. It's just the it's just the distance positions that seem to be a tad bit incorrect. So this might fix it. This might actually be the fix that I just needed the whole time. Because for some reason I decided, hey, let's just fully calculate both positions. Like, I know when I'm drawing something, or when you're drawing something like ground, we do have to calculate the end coordinate positions, because, well, that's just kind of necessary to find its length. But we know how large it should be, or we know what the size of the box should be at all times. So we don't need to do calculation. This will also be slightly more efficient in that case. Okay. Better, but it's not working. So down here below the 0 line, it appears to be working properly. But going above it does seem to present this problem of it always being one, I guess, unit less than it actually is, which is an input problem, not an output problem. So, yeah, because these two cells right here should be exactly the same. Does drawing one of these things across this? Huh. Well, I'll be. Okay, so that's for how I've never noticed that this is the behavior. Okay, I'm not going to fix this now then, as this is a systemic issue with how my grid mode works. And everywhere else in the code would have to be changed. So this is technically accurate. This is actually showing you where it's actually going to draw it. Which is really useful now that I think about it, because knowing that is very handy. The reason why I've never really noticed it before is because I'm always using this size of grid, which is the smallest size, which is basically imperceptibly different from where the mouse is. Especially once you don't have it, you're just thinking, oh, I started clicking at the wrong position. Wait, no, it's working correctly right now. Hang on, no, this is correct. Hold on. Because like when the grid mode is here, that does happen correctly. Like it starts going from there and then goes down or whatever. Is that how it works down here as well? Hold up. Okay, well, okay, for where you actually start at least, it's correct. Because if I want to go, say, here, it would start there either way. It should not have drawn that. That was a width of 0. There we go. It is at least deletable. Well, I'd say I fixed it in the form that it gave me a new bug that I have to fix at some other point in the future. But it's fixed enough for now to where I can quickly put this on the change logs and stuff. And, oh, you know, I'll remove all this debug crap because that would be annoying to get that all printing out every time grid mode is on. Could interfere with actual, problems. Actually, I'll also go edit the changelog here. While I'm here, I'll also go change the changelog because... Actually, no, wait. The bug that I technically fixed here is only existent in this update, so I don't need to modify the changelog because this is the intended behavior. So, let's go say, fixed grid mode indicator not working in negative It's fun when you notice a bug that has technically existed since like the game. How long has this been a bug for then? Or how long has this new thing been a bug for then? Because when I first added grid mode, it was way back in like 0003, I want to say, because no, 0004. That was way back at the beginning of the level creator. Although actually no, back then you couldn't actually do anything above y = 0. You were limited to the vertical height, to one vertical screen's width of space. So 0.0 is 0.2. That is technically when this bug got introduced, because that's when you could actually start doing stuff above. Actually, the level creator wasn't public until like 0.4. So maybe that's when I introduced it. Anyhow, it really does not matter because it's a bug. Mode is one cell off in one cell off in an X. Actually, this would also explain why I had such difficulty making a blueprint for the previous major update. Noted, note, colon. Hold up. And all right, that's been version. Okay, that has now been version controlled. All right, what next? Now we'll actually do what I was supposed to be doing in the stream, the 3D blueprint stuff. Which again, I was gonna say this at one point, but I haven't really ever thought much about how I was going to do this. Besides, it'll be like 2D blueprints, but 3D. Also, when I made the 2D blueprints, I didn't really have a good 3D editing space to deal with. And now I do, because I gotta figure out how I'm integrating all the fun math for the 3D shit into the 3D blue. Actually, did I? Okay, let me just troll through a bit of the code here a bit for a moment. Okay, well clearly I was reusing a hell of a lot of code here. Yeah, there's a lot of reused code here that I could honestly clean up. Because on every access, it's going through and be like, boop, 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 boop. Every access for each one of these things. Where's the root of this? Mouse clicked 3D. Where's this called from? This stuff here is then all 2D. Jump to declaration. I doubt this will actually fucking work. What do you mean? I meant usages, yes. Okay, this is just determining where to send the mouse. So, what is this inside of? Wait. Why is this so poorly set up? I really gotta go up to find answers here. But yeah, apparently this is just where all that stuff is being called from, which is GUI clicking code. Yeah. I don't know what GUI mouse clicked. I'm pretty sure that's like the 2D version of the mouse clicked 3D, which was obviously much earlier, which I guess would make sense. It's the level creator's GUI. Because the level creator was once its own separate program, not included within the main game itself. So when they merged together, some of the terminology doesn't really make sense anymore. It's like, wait, what's GUI? There's a lot of them now, instead of just the one GUI that was there on top of the game. If in the level creator, okay, well, you just need to pop up to the top of this block here to make sure it just says if not level creator and not something else really stupid. How far up is this? Okay, it is just literally saying if not level creator. Then do all this stuff. Most of it's wrapped within the left mouse button, but not all of it, I guess. But yeah, apparently, I just don't I mean, okay, I technically don't pre-qualify this with anything, and then just am always apparently actioning whatever 3D clicking is going on if 3D mode is turned on while in the level creator. Now, in theory, this is fine. I mean, the GUI mouse click one, this one is a little bit more confusing because that, I think, has other things that goes on with it. But this one is a little bit fine. This is actually very useful that this is just a function I can call, which means any of the actual functionality for placing stuff in the 3D blueprints is going to be real easy, as I'll just call this function once again. Actually, I won't have to. I'll just say have this turned on, and then we'll be in the level creator, so it'll just do this. Problem solved. But as for this one, let's go to this declaration. It's actually working, which is crazy. Oh. Okay, this function does just immediately check if you're editing a blueprint or a stage, which is good. So, because blueprints and stages are effectively the same thing under the hood. It does some fancy stuff for if you're in 3D stages. Wait. Oh, right, coins have to be handled differently depending on where we're at. So obviously 2D versus 3D, you have an extra coordinate, but then in blueprints, yeah, in blueprints we don't have a number of coins, so we just say 0 for all of them. And then you have the grid mode version versus the non-grid moded version of the coins, or of these things. Why am I going through explaining this? Alright. And then there's coin stuff. I don't know why I just... Okay, this number of coins variable is a very old holdover from when we didn't just have... Wait. Oh no, never mind. I know what this is. Never mind, this reload coins just tells me everything I need to know about that. It does some other stuff too. But yeah. This is nowhere near what I actually need to be doing. Alright. In that case, let's go figure some stuff out here. Okay. Okay. First thing we need to do is obviously when we're creating a blueprint, we need to be able to select between 2D type and 3D type. Now, we do already have... Okay, I'm just gonna go down here actually. Nope. Nope. Passed it. Okay. We do have somewhere in here a way to change between when you're right here. New stage 2D and new stage 3D. Or new 2D stage, new 3D stage. These buttons are what is actually used. Obviously, these are the ones you use when you're creating a new stage to determine, am I going to make it in 2D or 3D? Now, these will look a tiny bit out of place, but it would save me a fair bit of effort figuring out where to place them if they end up being in a good location. There's a chance they aren't, and then I'm just going to create a new button. Now I got to figure out where I need to be for this. So we're going to need to go up to the rendering function. Here we are somewhere within it. Oh, we're in the multiplayer code. Great. Is it above or below this where I need to go? Below. Yes, here we are. Here's the level creator stuff. Level, edit stage, level overview, new file, no. Further down. Loading blueprint, a little further up. Creating blueprint. Okay, here's where we need to edit shit. Ah, yes, that's what that is. This is the text entering section. So there's the text itself. There are buttons here, so we'll just add a couple buttons on here. This is where they will end up going, I guess, in the future. AW, gosh. 3D. Alright. Alright. Let's see. What will this look like? Oh, those buttons are not terribly placed. I will use them. So, now I just need a variable here for whether or not your blueprint is going to be a 2D blueprint or a 3D blueprint. Because now there's going to be more back-end coding for this whole situation. So, just out of curiosity, see, this won't have the buttons on it. Doesn't need to. I realize, because when I have the load here, I have the open folder button. I should probably make that a thing on the blueprints end as well. Because there is a blueprints folder, and you might want to know what's in there. Yes, I am live again. Let's see. Well, it's Boolean time. Alright. Boop, 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 boop. Alright. Alright. Okay, say new blueprint is the 3D. Alright, so pretty simple one there. Too far. Oh, perfect. Oh yeah, I reused some buttons here. Let's see, creating a blueprint. If that, then one thing else, another thing. So I will then start stealing code from elsewhere. Oh. Apparently there's places where I gotta fix some text. That's fun. When I did a whole bunch of scaling related stuff, I wasn't perfect with where everything was going to be. Well, this is what I needed to copy here. Backspace, there we go. All right. Now, which one is the brighter one? I take it the top one is. So we're going to... So obviously it's going to be false. So we should see that the 2D one is a little bit more lit up than the 3D one right now. Level creator. I was wrong. I got it backwards. Which is actually, yeah, I did get it backwards. Because it said if new blueprint is 2D. So this time I am working on. So this time I am currently working on the next minor update to my game, which, if you're interested in checking it out, you can currently find it at the first link in the description. The second link in the description is the intro song. Alright, so this should be the correct order of things this time. Yes, obviously they don't do anything yet. Which I guess is what I'm doing next. Make them do something, and then I gotta make it useful. The best way to make them useful is, or do something, is to go and copy the code from the previous ones. I do not know how I have not updated these buttons yet to actually be buttons and not screen coordinates. Actually, I think I updated them somewhere else as well. I have stumbled upon this before. Oh, okay, I think I'm going to do that in a moment, actually, here. Or maybe before the end of the stream. I'll see. I'll see if I'm remembering it at that point. Because I'm just remembering stuff now. Oh gosh. More things that probably need to be updated, although that has to do with multiplayer, so I can't be bothered to go and update all the scaling stuff. Although realistically, this should be updated. Disconnect. Oh, and in terms of specifically what I'm doing, I am currently making a 3D blueprint creator editor. At the very beginning, despite being 56 minutes in, I'm at the very first stages, as I was just... Actually, for a good chunk of the stream, I was troubleshooting something that I noticed, and turned out it was nothing particularly interesting. Okay, well, I found... Wait, no, that's that. Loaf blueprint button. Hello there. Let's do Ant Tunes. I gotta scroll down a bit further to find what I need. New file. Here's where it's at. I found the new file page. Here we go. Okay, that's a little bit more complex than I was thinking, but it doesn't matter. Because... Wait, I lost it, damn it. Low... Oh wait, no, I actually need to scroll down further. Whoops. I did not need to go up, I need to go down. Loading blue... Okay, creating blueprint. Here we are. There's the back button. Alright, why is the indentation all messed up? How dare you? Actually, I guess it's because that's where I copied it from. We're gonna get... that and that. Alright, let's see. Let's see if this works. It probably will, but it also might not. Level creator. Mind you, what it actually does is... well, it didn't work. Oh no. Why did it not work? Oh. Because it copied the wrong thing. Back to the mines. Of figuring out why I... dang it. How did I... okay, how actually did I screw that up like that? Level overview. New file. This is where I was. Okay, I was in that if statement. This is what I was supposed to be copy pasting. To down here. Wait, what? They're backwards? Okay, well, ditch these old ones. You know, if I read these comments that I sporadically left throughout here, maybe I'd know what I was doing. Yeah, the sporadic commenting from that one time that I decided to go through and try comment everything, then got like halfway through, got bored and stopped, are occasionally useful. But my knowledge of what actually exists where is probably a lot more useful than any of these comments. Although there has also been the times when I don't remember what something actually does, and I have to figure out, okay, how did this, is it necessary? Is this code even doing anything anymore? Because that's happened a few times. Okay, perfect. Okay. Now, new blueprint is 3D. Well, we're in the right place because the create button is right here. And so I'm actually not entirely sure how much of this I'm going to end up having shared between the two different the two different things. Now just not remembering how any of this works. Actually, the only part that might need to be different is this first line here, which actually creates the blueprint. Besides that, I think that everything else is effectively going to need to be the same. Just need to check over this way. Nope. Do I have a separate stage type for 3D? No, it's just is 3D. That's the only difference, is there's just a value in here. Oh, okay, here's a little bit of that thing that I was talking about of I planned for there to be 3D blueprints, but I've never gotten around to implementing them. This already being set up to decipher whether or not I was talking about a 3D blueprint for setting whether or not it was a 3D stage type. That was something I did way back when I added stages. I made sure to add this in here because I knew eventually I would add 3D blueprints, just not at the time. So literally the only difference then I actually have to make back here is that this line is the only actual difference between these two, and I just got to change the type string saying blueprint to 3D blueprint. And that is all the setup to create a 3D blueprint. Loading it is obviously going to be effectively the same thing. So now, I actually have no idea what's going to happen. 3D test A. Okay, that's quite predictable. It just puts me into the 2D blueprint editor, as it currently does not make a distinction between 2D and 3D blueprints. Okay, but this is something interesting. No tools of any kind, so it's actually more useless than a 2D blueprint, as many of these tabs are completely blank. Good to know. Anyway, I am going to go to the bathroom, so I will be right back. Alright then. I realize I should probably talk about kind of the hodgepodgey way in which I realized I did stuff, because these are blueprints here, but you see, we're creating a stage object. Now why is that? That's because, well, what a stage basically is in this game is it's a collection of stage components. And when I made blueprints, I decided that instead of reinventing the wheel, a collection of stage components, I reuse the current collection of stage components I have, which is fully functional and works and stuff, and then just bastardize it into having some additional functionality that isn't normally used in the course of gameplay. So technically, I don't remember when I added blueprints. Hold up. Going to now look, when did I add blueprints? Well, it's not in the changelog, so that's kind of embarrassing. Okay, I will now look up on the original page for the level creator that actually had some notes on it. See if I can love creator, love creator. Nope, that's not it. There it is. Wait, no, that's old. How old am I talking here? Oh, I know how to. Oh. Wait. Okay, that is old. That is not what I'm trying to find, though. Okay, let me just go to my entire repository list. There it is. Oh, that's why. Okay. Look through releases. Very last tactical release was improving the 3D editing. Wow, okay, I was incredibly bad at describing the changes to the level creator because I didn't keep track of them. One of them I just said lots of new things. So I don't know when I added blueprints. The blueprint system is... Okay, I don't know why I'm looking this up. I forgot why. Alright, but yeah, so... just briefly looking at YouTube's streaming dashboard right now. It is, it's saying, warning, the stream's current bitrate is 1500 kilobytes per second, is lower than recommended bitrate. We recommend you use a stream bitrate of 6800 kilobits per second. Well, that doesn't exactly matter, because I don't need to push 6000 kilobytes per second at the moment, because nothing's going on screen. This is a perfect 1080p 30 FPS broadcast right now, only using about 2 megabytes per second of data right now. So I guess suck on that, YouTube. But yeah, anyhow, technically the game would be able to properly interpret a 3D blueprint for going way back into the game's history. But anyhow, I think what we have to do now for implementing 3D blueprints is, because most of the functionality is in theory there with generally the level creator. I just need to get the actual toolbox able to have all this stuff on it, which is toolbox window. Whoops. Now this file is kind of a mess, because I would love to split it up into many separate components, but it has to be all a singular embedded class file, which means it has to be all a singular processing file. Like, I suppose I could split it up into separate class files and stuff, but then that would necessitate me passing this class into whatever other classes or functions that will end up dealing with this stuff, which is just kind of a pain in the ass. Hang on a second. I think this is a tad bit outdated here. There's some stuff I can remove. Because I've been slowly working towards making it so I don't need to have toolbox window specific rendering. I'm in the wrong function. Or wrong file even. Okay, no, unfortunately that is required. Okay. I should make it so it's not required, but that has changed. The use of this has changed, which is why I'm saying that. A lot of this stuff I could probably update to not actually require their own instance inside of this class. Might as well change this to key typed, but oh well. Mouse drag. Where do I need to be? Oh boy. I'm realizing that as easy as I was just thinking this is going to be, it's not going to be particularly easy. It's going to be painful. Alright, page tools. I use strings for identification here. It's not the best idea. Alright, editing stage here. We need to be under... Alright, then that breaks it out into the 3D stage. Here we go. Editing blueprint. Type equals normal blueprint. Until now, it hasn't actually needed to have an else there. I'm going to, in case I add other forms of blueprints in the future, make it an else if. I can do that. Alright. So, there aren't too many things that realistically need to be here. I will start by copying the things from the 2D blueprint, or some of the things. So like ground, delete, grid mode, hologram, coin, checkpoint. Now unfortunately, we do not have slopes in 3D. There are a couple of reasons for that. Part of it is laziness. Another reason that we don't have 3D slopes is, well, it's kind of tricky to render because processing doesn't provide a triangular prism primitive type, so I'd have to figure out how to render it myself. Not that I haven't done stuff like that before, but I'd have to do that. The very tricky part is collisions, because collisions were a pain for the 2D triangles that I had to figure out collisions for. They're going to be even harder for a 3D triangle. Especially with how I currently do collisions, and in the future I want to change how collisions work, or are detected to make them less stupid. But that's, I mean, that would hopefully allow me to do 3D stuff, but the 3D stuff is harder, so. Anyhow, we go down to, so we skip the triangular stuff. Save and exit. We will need those. I feel like there's more stuff from the game that I've just neglected to put in blueprints over time. Anyhow, let's check what the toolbox is actually looking like right now. Level creator. Yeah. We're not saving anything right now. Literally unable to. I've just put the functionality for all these buttons in without actually making them rendered. So they'll technically do stuff. How did I screw that up? Putting in the functionality before the actual thing. I mean, ideally I'd do it at the same time, but this, as I said, this file is such a clusterfuck that it is kind of a pain to do a lot. Actually, I do need to actually come down here again, actually, to copy this line. Let's go up to the tools. Okay, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a train horn going off in the background. To be clear, there's no train action. The train tracks aren't particularly close to where I am. There's just a train. The window's open. As I don't think the train tracks are close by. To be fair, there are train tracks around where I normally live, which are also not particularly close. Nope. Ba-bing. Okay, we're at the right spot. But I can still hear the train horns from that sometimes. The signal, or the sound, the horns from trains, they travel, guys. End of type is blueprint. Hold up, let me just check what's on the other end of this if statement here. Oh, perfect. That's something that I was doing at one point that I should continue to do. Type is 3D. Oh yeah, also something, actually it was also very easy for, actually also part of the reason that blueprints are just bastardized stages is because everything in the game was already configured to use stages. So, adding stages was a pretty... making them a stage meant I didn't have to change or add secondaries into a lot of code, like the placement code. I didn't have to add anything in for that. It just works as normal. Some of the code is just none the wiser that you're doing a blueprint instead of a normal stage. Alright. Unfortunately, there is still a lot of this stuff that I have to do manually. Let's see. Ground, checkpoint, grid mode, de-letting, coins, and we stop short of the slope. And then the slope, holographic slope, and then that. Save level and exit. Oh, right. I don't know why it keeps realigning the text. Seems like a pretty old thing, but I'll keep it in there just in case it's important, because I don't want to think about that right now. Wait. Oh, wait. Alright. And then we copy all this stuff. Now, the interesting thing with these buttons is obviously there's hover text for this button, so you hover over it, and it then displays a little bit of extra text. Now, I had to be smart with how I do this. I could have embedded it so that if you had hover text enabled for a button, it would just render that with the button at the same time. But the problem with that is, if you place buttons directly next to that button, those buttons would then cover up the text for that button. So I had to make it something that gets rendered completely separately at a different place and time. And I'm scrolling down way too far into the into a completely different thing. Here we go. I don't know why it realigns the text. I would assume the text gets it realigned in the button. In fact, I could check if it does. Laziness, though. So... Alright. 3D. Oh, why did I put this on the second screen? Boop. Hey, there's shit here now. With the proper hoverings. That is still in the wrong location. Exit the coin. Probably need to remove that. A couple of these hover texts. Save, and then there's nothing else. I should look into adding more stuff. Actually, let me... Oops, wrong button. Alright. There we go. So, let's check that these buttons actually might work. Yes, 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 yes. Skipping that one. Yes, and I'm not going to click save yet. That's probably also going to work. Now, this is obviously only 2D. I obviously need to add 3D in here. But let's see that I can actually do something. Okay, the grid mode indicator is not currently showing up at all. No idea why that is, actually. I think I know why that is. It's just not doing anything is why. Okay. So obviously, I've got a bit of work to do here, but the current thing I gotta do that's kind of important is add the actual 3D button, or button for 3D, even if it doesn't do shit yet, in here. Which means I gotta scroll up. Oh. Right, there's a difference between what happens in 3D mode and out of 3D mode. Um. Oh, should we? Okay, maybe I'll include some of the other stuff like the 3D switches. Yeah, those could be good to include as well. Wait, where's the 3D switch button? Logic button. I could also include, yeah, signs, logic buttons. I don't know if I necessarily have all the backend infrastructure. Well, okay, for buttons, it's probably whatever. Signs, I don't have all the backend infrastructure, honestly, probably to make those actually work properly. Oh, my phone's battery is a bit running low. Plug that in. Okay, yeah, then I gotta split into whether or not 3D mode is currently activated or not, because that does kind of make some differences. Also realize I have to do stuff elsewhere in the code. Man. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, too far. Okay. Here we go. This point here is where where we switch between Windows not in 3D mode. Because obviously there are some stuff that, or there is a couple buttons and stuff that will only pop up when in 3D mode. So, in terms of my learning programming, okay, I guess you could say it kind of started, if we want to go all technically way back, it kind of started with like Minecraft Redstone. Kind of. Huh. But if we're in more of an actual sense, so in, I want to say 8th grade, I remember there was stuff like in math class where for some reason we had to do stuff with Scratch. I don't remember why. I think it was something with like graph transformations in Scratch. But we had to do stuff with Scratch, and that was fun. And then there was also something else in another class later in 8th grade where we also had to use Scratch, which was interestingly. So that was probably the first time I did anything that was realistically programming. Okay. Now thinking back, I guess there was a terrible robots thing that we were doing in 5th grade for a while that was bad. And something like code.org or something like that I did around that time as well, briefly. But in terms of okay, and then there was also like 7th grade and it's like 7th grade I did some stuff with the Discord bot in Node.js briefly, but it was at that point mostly just copy pasting stuff from my friend's Discord bot, who also got his stuff by copy pasting from others. Although I did kind of figure out how to work with MySQL a little bit back then. Kind of actually on my own, but again, from copy pasting other code and working with basic if statements, I didn't know how to do loops and stuff back then. Besides all that stuff, for properly learning how to program, in 10th grade, I took my school's computer science class, which is where I really started learning how to program. Now, there's actually 3 separate computer science classes at my high school. So yes, Computer Science 1, Computer Science 2, and AP Computer Science. Computer Science 1 was a hodgepodge of different stuff. It started with like basic HTML. Then it went into a bit about like, here's what binary is, here's how like different bases, here's the basics of logic, which I kind of already knew a bunch of that stuff. And then Then after that, they started teaching us a bit of Python, where we did some basic stuff. And also, the actual teacher who was supposed to be teaching it was out for most of the semester, so we had a substitute who didn't have a teaching license, but was really good at teaching us the computer science stuff. There's a hair in my vision. Okay, nope, I didn't get it. Okay, whatever. Anyhow. But then, the next semester, because for some reason Computer Science 1 and 2 were only 1 semester long courses, the next semester I took Computer Science 2, which taught Java. And at the end, towards the end of the semester, mind you, this was like after COVID hit, they showed us processing. Hence the thing I'm currently using to make this game. And gave us some basics of it. I've never used Freed Code Camp, so I don't know what its quality could be, but it might be good. But yeah, and then, speaking of a story, in late May of that year, so this was like maybe a month or so after I'd been first introduced with processing, probably not even that much, I started making this game. So that's kind of where my learning to program, and since then I've obviously, I took the AP Computer Science course, learned more things, now going to school for computer science, so obviously learning more things there at a college level. What was I doing beforehand? 'Cause I forgot. That was a tangent. Yeah, that would definitely be a hindrance too. So yeah, something like that. There's also like a billion videos on YouTube that try to teach people how to do programming stuff. So you could also start there if there's any specific languages. There's definitely like free 12-hour courses on YouTube of people going through all this stuff. I'm not really that good at teaching how to do stuff. Where was I? Here we go. So I don't necessarily know what you should start with. It depends on if you, you could theoretically start with any language. But certain languages are better for beginners than others. You could certainly start with C or C++ from literally knowing nothing. That's kind of how the courses at school I currently go to are taught or structured. You start with C, just the first programming course. You just straight up start with C. They expect you to know basically nothing about how computers work at all, and they build you up from there. Definitely possible. Although I can say with C++, it might be a little bit overwhelming for beginners. If you think you can handle that, then sure, you can start C++. But you also might want to, if you don't know anything and you're nervous, maybe start with Python. That's a lot more beginner friendly. And you can ease your way into C or C++ from there, because Python has some similarities with those languages, although it is a little bit... Oh, they are different for sure, but Python is definitely more of a beginner's language if that's what you're looking for. And if you want a challenge, then yeah, by all means, go and start looking up C++. It is definitely a popular language out there, so you should be able to find lots of stuff about it. Now what was I doing? Right. Now we go back to actually. Now we go back to this. This button. .3D. All right, I didn't have the functionality for it yet. It also won't actually do anything yet, because what we're going to need to do next is literally anything with 3D. Alright, scrolling down to the mouse handling stuff. Too far. Yeah, okay, a little bit further up than that is where I need to go. But yeah, there are certainly, I mean, if you want to just start learning stuff, definitely C++ offers a lot more nicer stuff that's a bit more intuitive to humans than C would, definitely. Which was, I guess, kind of the point of C++ was that it was easy. It was more of like how humans write code. Because, well, I mean, okay, C was probably one of the first programming languages that was actually kind of easy for people to write programs in, and was a little bit more intuitive to. This is what I wanted to. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I have to switch with this. Yeah. Okay. Because before you had before C came out, it was very common for people to just write programs in straight up assembly, which I would not recommend doing. Debugging in assembly is incredibly difficult. Also, I don't even think it's realistically supported at this point by most modern operating systems to program stuff directly in assembly. But there were, but C wasn't the first high-level programming languages by all means. There were others like Cobalt, Fortran. Sorry, I just needed to focus on what I'm actually doing right now for a second there. Yes, those languages weren't the most intuitive to work with, and had Pascal. That was another language, I guess, that was a thing before C. A lot of those languages were kind of a pain to use, though, and they were higher level languages at the time, so they'd allow more for it. But C was a truly useful language that was powerful, but people could also write code for it. But C also has a lot of things because of the era that it was designed in that are definitely CPU first design, because there was a lot less processing power. They didn't have a programming language like C to write good compilers in, so okay, kind of. So what assembly is well, okay, no, actually, what you're describing there is machine code, which is actually a layer below assembly. But they are very closely linked, because with assembly, it is actually kind of a programming language, but it was a CPU-specific programming language where the process of converting your assembly into stuff the CPU would actually run wasn't compiling, it was assembling. There was a lot less steps. It was more or less a direct translation between what you had written, which effectively looked like, well, let's go here. So it's you'd be LDA something like this is kind of what assembly looks like. And there would be a very simple program that takes this sort of syntax here and makes it into that machine code there and does it. So it is about one layer removed from basic binary functions. But it was very, very simple. Very simple. Okay. Right, that's what I need to do. I did not copy that. Okay. I'm getting distracted today. Ooh. Wait, where is it? It's toggle 3D mode. I don't know what this is going to do necessarily. But yeah, I realized that leaving the editor should only be done in 2D mode to not screw things up. That's right. Now I gotta... Alright. This is the false block here. It's not a big issue. I'm just realizing that I've just been kind of talking while not doing anything for the last little bit, and I probably want to actually do stuff. But it's not bad to have discourse with people in chat when people actually are chatting, unlike what they normally do, which is not say anything at all and just kind of sit there for 5 minutes and then they leave, meaning that the average view duration goes to like 12 minutes over the course of the stream, which is always fun. What was I looking for? Oh, right. I was looking for the rendering section. And I gotta move something around. So I realize... Wait, am I in the... Okay, 3D blueprint, here we go. Where is it? I think it's just a single line. Yeah, exit stage. Exit stage is something that should only happen, or should only appear when we're not currently in 3D, for the very specific reason I don't want to screw stuff up, because I specifically, I guess, designed the level creator in this way where, okay, just because I want to make it simpler, you can only go out of something you're editing if you're not in 3D mode, because I don't know what kind of screwery that could cause elsewhere if you start editing something but you're in 3D mode. What would it do? I don't know, and I don't want to potentially find out, so I will just not find out, and that will be that. Alright, 3D mode disappears that. Obviously, I haven't actually done anything yet. But that, I guess, is where we turn to next. We are probably not going to get this thing fully implemented in this stream. Oh well. It's fine. We're actually getting some progress done, which is more than I can say for most of the time when I'm thinking about working on this game. Alright, level creator. Loading. New level, editing stage. Level overview. It's going to be quite far down. Creating new... Okay. Editing blueprint. Alright, this is where we need to be. So... Blueprint, edit, draw, which doesn't apparently in stage edit GUI. So... Okay, once we get past the background here... Blueprint, edit, draw. Actually, I need to take a look at that. Okay, next file, which is level collisions. There it is. This is where blueprint rendering happens. Blueprint, edit, draw. Wait, is there a separate level rendering? Stage level draw. Is there a stage level draw 3D? I don't know. No, there's not. It just segments inside of itself. Alright. So... let's see. Hello there. Wow, okay. I for some reason put the ability to, or the proper selection stuff inside of the blueprint editor, Despite the fact that you can't select things inside of a blueprint yet. Until now, technically. Alright. Alright, so. Okay, so what I need to do, so if not E3D. Oh yeah, the story of why it's called E3D is because I specifically wanted a variable to just be 3D, but obviously you can't start a variable with a number, so just put the letter E in front of it. Why does it not exist? What did I do wrong? Is it, oh, is it a lowercase d? No. What am I doing wrong? Oh, it's E3D mode. Oh, that makes sense. There we go. There we go. All right. All right. Yes. Okay. So when we're in 2D mode, we just draw the lines across the screen, like you've been seeing. That indicates where the center is. In 3D, we have to be a little bit different in how we do that because third dimension. It's not as simple as just lines. So I'm realizing that the camera is a different thing. Okay. We're not gonna draw, we're not gonna render those lines here. Technically it doesn't matter where we render the lines as long as, where is, well, so it's called level collisions. This file is called level collisions because it was originally where level collisions, go figure, were calculated. But it's turned into where, yes, the collisions are calculated, but also where the main level rendering loop or logic happens, which is fun. All right. Oh. All right, well, I think I found what I can simply duplicate here. How far? Oop. Don't stop. Okay, just trying to open up this history now. 3D blueprint. There we go. So if the type is a 3D blueprint, you can start by doing the normal render stuff, but I'll need to do the camera similar to how it was done here. Oh wait, shit. Okay, so E3D mode being false is something that we have to then get rid of. Because we're gonna say if that, else do what we were doing beforehand. Which is set the camera to not happen. So if we are in 3D mode, we will set the camera. Now this is the general camera calculations for 3D. I do not remember 3D camera positions not simulating. Yeah, so I think I probably need to, not simulating is obviously going to be what we're doing. I don't want the camera to actually necessarily be able to move around, for now at least. Where do these functions get called? Probably, yeah. Well, when we're doing the blueprint stuff, we're always going to be in 3D mode anyway. So we're going to do that. We're just gonna. So we're just gonna reset all these to 0, 0, 0 before and after the camera adjustments, because all we really need with the camera adjustments is to recalculate where the actual adjustment for the actual vision is, because rotating around the object is probably something I'm gonna have just fine. Alright, so this is the very start of the 3D mode here. So then we're gonna go stroke red, stroke as solid red, stroke weight of 2, we'll say. And the fun fact about lines in processing is, unlike other types of primitives, they can actually be just straight up specified to be drawn in 3D. They work in both 2 and 3 dimensions, which is nice. So this is going to be, say, negative 700, 0, 0 to 700, 0, 0. This is going to be the line for the... Oh. Okay, it is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I noticed because my screen just got a bit yellower. I don't know if this is actually something that gets captured or not. I don't think it is, because I think it's just a thing that Windows applies after the fact. But the nighttime lighting, or the night light mode, as Windows I think calls it, just got applied. Okay. Or, well, really blue reduction mode. So much blue on the screen though, so I don't think it really makes a difference. Anyhow, y-axis. Oh wait. We're gonna stroke 0 to 55, 0. Green for the y-axis, so line 0 or 0, 700, 0 to 0, negative 700, 0. I guess the order doesn't matter. And finally, the blue is for the z-axis. All right, and then, or then no stroke for the rest of whatever rendering is going to happen. I want to test this to start with. See if it actually works properly. Alright, this doesn't need to be on the main screen at the moment. 3D blueprint. Alright, 2D. Looks correct. Bam! 3D. Those are pretty thin lines, but that doesn't really matter. You can at least tell... Okay, so... something didn't happen correctly. Anyhow, as I was saying before I clicked and caused a crash, you can see the lines in each axis. It works. Probably. Alright. Let's see what's going on here. Cannot read field stages because this dot level is null. Why, pray tell, would it be trying to execute that at the moment? Slash, oh, right, because this is now processing the 3D mouse clicked, which isn't set up for the stages, which means, or for the blueprint editor, which means when I did this, it tried to search through the level, which is not currently existent. That's a headache that I wasn't thinking of. Damn it. That means I actually gotta add a bunch of screwery into the 3D code, which mostly just extracting which stage to do stuff with before I actually do stuff. Anyhow, crash me. Takes a second. Yep, there's the fun stack trace. So, anyhow, I certainly do not know anything about that. Okay, there is one other thing I need to do over in the toolbox window before I move on. Well, actually, no. There is some... Okay, there's a couple things I need to do in the toolbox window before I end up... Before we're done with this. But... Specifically, there's one thing I need to enable for the... Too far. So, if page equals colors... Blah, 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 color stuff. Wait. Oh. This is gonna be a pain in the ass to shortcut that shit. Working blueprint type equals 3D blueprint. But anyhow, this is the thing I need to enable. If I go up here. So, we wrap this entire statement here, because that is basically a single statement. And say, or working blueprint is not equal to null, and it's equal to 3D stages. We will then enable the 3D, the OG 3D editing tools. Oh yeah, I also realized I didn't actually make it render stuff. I should actually go do that. I don't know why I just started the game. That will I can test that in a moment. First of all, I should actually make it render shit. That'd be useful. Level collisions. Here we go. So, camera positions shouldn't really matter because we already took care of that. All right. I know I just said no stroke, but actually we're gonna do some other stuff. Oh wait, we didn't go into a loop. Oh no, we did. We did. Okay. Then we draw all the elements. Draw 3D. I think that's the method game, probably. Okay, it was the rendering was basically identical apart from saying no, do it in 3D. So, alright, that should be the rendering of a... Okay, so, barring that whole one click will actually kill you. Actually, well, I'm about to see. Because I want to try actually rendering, seeing if something will render in 3D. Blueprints, 3D, start. Alright, let's go here. This still has not been configured to work with 3D, but anyhow. This is what I wanted to show you. These two I'm pointing at my screen like you can see. These two boxes here, which are not currently functional. Okay, I perhaps need to give them function. But there's clearly other stuff that I need to do. So, edit stage GUI is probably something that I need to check out. Jump to declaration. If stage or blueprint. Yes, okay. So where are we going? Oh, frickin' hell, I pressed in a little bit too hard on the scroll wheel. Let's go to the 3D rendering component of this. So actually, I think I know why the grid mode indicator isn't showing up at the moment. Haha. Am I at 3D? No, I'm not at 3D. Wait, am I? No, I'm not. I'm at other parts. Yeah, I've seen triangles. Alright. Current type is stage 3D. Or current type. Okay, the whole thing with current. The reason why it's not just level.getCurrentStage or whatever is because of the blueprint situation. Current is a of type stage, which is decided earlier based off of what's going on. And that is what is being compared here. And there's also issues where if it's null, then oh no, you're going to have a bad day. Alright, now I gotta go find... Scrolling way back in this list of 3D blueprint. Ooh, might be off my list by now. Crap. Alright, I'll have to go somewhere else quickly to get that then. Should just be level collisions would be the easiest place. Should. Yep, right there. Bango. Bango, bango. Stage editor. And now I actually gotta also figure out, does current, or does the selection of, oh, yeah, no, that's perfect. Okay. That should now work. The mouse click side of things, though, that might be another story. Settings, multiplayer, logic placement, it's going to be above that. Okay. Feeding, loading. Wait, where is... Wait, did I... Because creating and loading blueprint are right here. Did I put this... Why did I... Okay, I guess I put the mouse clicked... Right, no, it's general purpose level creator mouse clicking. That's right. So it's not specific to being... Wow, okay. Here it is. This, mouse clicked, GUI mouse clicked. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, if editing stage or blueprint gets that, does it ever check what, or does it ever, okay, that's where it checks for 3D stage for moving. That doesn't matter too much. Alright, here's where it becomes fun, because I have to copy paste all the stuff over again. But this time, for the 3D blueprint type. Mind you, this is to support an out-and-out outdated form of all this stuff. So this is going to be fun. Woo! And also, I've now been streaming for over 2 hours, and I'll probably stop streaming soon. We didn't fully implement this feature yet, but interesting. Why did I implement that as 3D there? That was not correct. Interesting. Anyhow, So that's one. Okay, the coin situation there. That's where the different stage types matter. Signs are not currently available in blueprints, so that doesn't technically matter. Although, in theory, all I would have to do is say or stage or blueprint, and 3D stage or 3D blueprint. Something, selecting something, 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 do thing. Alright, that wasn't actually too bad. Most of that stuff doesn't really care, does it? Oh, here's GUI mouse pressed and GUI mouse released. Yeah, it doesn't really care what you're doing there. Here, though, is where we get the 3D crash. So the reason why it crashed when I clicked the 3D was because of this. I just highlighted everything for some reason. This method right here, though, which is very direct in assuming level stages get current stage parts add, instead of doing the current situation. But I want to quickly just make a thing where a blueprint can visualize or can have a 3D thing in it that is not fully thing yet. Because that's what I kind of, at least initially, pretended to set out to do today. Alright, we're in a 3D blueprint. Turn that, let's go set that. Alright. Yay! Woo! Alright. It's a box. Oh, I need to do lighting. I'll quickly do that and then I'll end the stream because shit, someone just got in the shower. Okay, I'm not gonna go piss. Like I have to piss, but I'm not gonna be able to right after the stream. So actually, I might as well just keep streaming for a little while I fix some of these last few things. All right. First of all, where do I apply lighting? So I didn't realize I had not done the lighting stuff yet. Directional light, ambient light. Coin rotation plus coin rotation stuff. I'll also take that. So that should be the lighting fixed, and I guess for now I will do the 3D editing stuff. So stage editor. Alright. Mouse clicked 3D. If selecting, you go through a thing, you find a thing. Alright, so I need to start right here. So stage current. Actually, how did I get around it warning me about being null, but I don't actually care? And actually, I'm just gonna straight up copy this. Oh, I guess I just straight up didn't. I used to get warnings about, hey, this could be null at this point. I'm like, shut up, it won't be. Well, clearly I was wrong. It could be. Alright, so now. Alright, that's that. And now I just gotta replace everywhere I see level.stages.get with current. So okay. Replace and find. That is a brilliant feature that is offered by processing here. So holograms, checkpoints, coins, of course. The switches, because those actually could have something relevant. The 3D switches, I might consider adding those into the blueprint specifications, potentially. The sign, I am considering adding that. That will, of course, have some work on the 2D side of things, but I probably need to realistically give all parts of my code love, not just the parts that are currently the flashiest and parts that I actually do stuff with. Deleting, of course, that is important to work properly. We are all the way back at the top of the file. Okay. Wait, did I just control Z? Control. Alright. Now I should be able to click in the 3D thing without actually having any issues. So, level creator, new blueprints, start this. Alright, we'll get something in here because without something, 3D is nothing. Alright, that looks so much better there than that did before. I don't suppose... Oh, cool. The arrow keys do work. I think the... Yeah. Actually, moving around stuff won't work. But yeah, see? Woo. It works and stuff. And you can see exactly where that positions it. But anyhow, moment of truth. It didn't crash. Good. Oh. Okay, here's something. I have no way of... Once I want to do something 3D, I have no way of getting back into this because I haven't had the buttons for this yet on the toolbox window. But yes, this is the movement mode, which was supposed to work. It did not work. Well, it worked at least slightly better than than the previous attempt where it just crashed immediately. Interesting that didn't pop up an error on my screen, but that's probably just due to processing runtime stuff being screwy when you're in the processing development environment. Where am I? Oh, I'm on a different file. Oh. Well, that is unfortunate. See, some places I planned out the ability to use this use 3D mode in a blueprint with blueprints, and then when I was updating 3D mode or the 3D editing stuff to be better, I wasn't thinking at all about 3D blueprints. So, that's fun. And now I gotta screw off in other locations. Oh, okay, well... So we'll remove that. We'll define that there. And then Control X that. Actually, we'll Control X this entire line basically into there. I'm setting that there, and that's fine. And then CT equals that. All right. And then I already did have a variable there because I guess I wasn't fond of doing a lot of stuff. All right, cool. Yeah, and then I'll just, okay, and then after this I gotta go back to the, I pressed the wrong thing. I have to go, what do I have to do? Alright, I have to finish up the toolbox stuff. And then at least the creation side of making blueprints in 3D, or making 3D blueprints, will be done. All right. Back in 3D mode. Click. No surprises here. Can't move around, so hopefully this doesn't go off the screen, but yay, it works! I mean, you're moving directly along the axis, so the fact that the green line there isn't changing is like, huh. Okay, it makes sense, but oh boy. But yeah, this is all for reference point. That there, obviously, is the point at which, in theory, will be the center of this blueprint where it's being placed from. Oh god, that's also going to be quite complex. But yeah, okay, this works. So then I gotta add these things into the toolbox window. So let's do that. And after that, this will be effectively finished. See, it wasn't that hard. It just really was. Alright, actually, I need to go all the way down. Well, probably all the way down. Where is the mouse event? Wheel event, even. Damn it, I do need that exact same condition from the top here. Just gonna copy this entire if statement. Because that is effectively what I need here. And boom. Alright, that should now be... Okay, so the scrolling in those boxes to adjust depth should now be completely functional. Alright. So... Place blueprint, no. Not in the right location. Well, actually I am, but I'm just a little bit too high up. Alright, 3D switches, we can potentially add those in later. Sign, select, ground, wait. There's, oh, size 3D and move 3D buttons. Here we go. So if we are in 3D mode, end of 3D mode off. Alright, so that's the functionality of the buttons implemented. Selection past the logic board editing, which is a whole separate thing. Okay, above the blueprints area, there's the hover text. We'll need to copy that in a moment. Actually, oh yeah, these are actually very simple. Checkpoints. Yep. Size 3D, move 3D. Current 3D transformation mode default selected. Okay. Alright, I probably went down a little bit too far. Maybe. Not. Maybe not. I'm not entirely sure, actually. Oh, no, I didn't go down too far. Yay! Alright, and then I gotta get the hover text. Gonna have to go up a bit further for that hover text. There we go. And then this should be a mostly fully featured... Alright, so now this should be a mostly fully featured 3D editor in the blueprint editor. It's mostly just been copy-pasting code. But to be fair, I did kind of know that's what it was going to be. So... Alright. Actually, first of all, yep, that works. Great. That was part 1. Part 1 is a success. Right, get that. Part 2, bam, I'm in 3D mode, and of course these buttons are here. They should theoretically be functional. Obviously, we know this is functional from just a moment ago when I actually accidentally tried to use it. But now this one is also functional, which is of course the 3D resize tool. It'd be nice if you could do this in 2D, and maybe eventually we will have that, but we do not have that right now. Of course, the big thing that remains to be seen is we can build in 3D. Move this little guy. You can't get closer to it. That is the only thing that I guess is kind of a problem in here. Maybe I'll make the scroll wheel on this window here be allowing you to zoom in and out for, you know, editings of the finer details. Because as it currently stands, you only got the rotation. Which, why the fuck was there a frame drop there? Okay. What the hell is with that frame drop? Anyhow. Oh yeah, we can also do things like, boop, put a little checkpoint flag there. We cannot, however, put in coins. And, yeah, I think that is where I'm going to leave it for this stream. So, yeah, if you enjoyed, then, yeah. I see what the errors are. Yeah, but yeah, if you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like on the stream on your way out. And if you also would be so kind as to subscribe. And if you want to see future streams like this one when they happen live, then you can also hit that bell when you subscribe to be notified every time I go live. And I will see you all next time.